This episode of Funky Fitness Now is made possible by listeners like you. Get exclusive rewards and more by visiting funkyfitnessnow.com/support.
Funky Fitness Now, episode 45, Strange Fitness Obsessions.
Yeah, you're walking around with a tube up your nose. Why are you doing that? To look good? Oh, yeah, that's working for you.
Welcome to Funky Fitness Now, where every week we take a look at some of the creative, unusual, and crazy things people do to get fit. We have a lot of fun, and occasionally we even learn something. So fasten your weight belt. It's time for Funky Fitness Now. Here are your hosts, Steve Stearns and Jessica Bailey.
Hi, and welcome to Funky Fitness Now, episode number 45. I'm Steve Stearns from Outside Health and Fitness, and it's going to get strange tonight because we're talking about strange fitness obsessions. They're just strange. And speaking of a strange obsession, my co-host, Jessica Bailey from Sassy Girl Fitness NYC.
Oh, it's going to get strange tonight. Jessica from Sassy Girl is here.
Do you have any strange obsessions?
I mean, to me, they're not strange, but I'm sure that they are strange. I have more rituals. Like, I do things a certain way before I go to bed or a certain way in the morning. And I'm sure that they're strange to other people, but to me, that's just how life works.
That's just how it is. That's right.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I think everyone has those kind of things. Yeah, everyone has those weird things that for me, I kind of go through these cycles. Like, I get into one summer, I'm like massively into tennis, and then the next summer, I'm massively into something else, and I don't know. What are you going to do?
I know. I go through the same phases. Actually, what I want to talk about tonight is a fitness obsession that I had. I didn't have it, but I was close to having this obsession, and I will talk to you about it.
So maybe by the end of the show, you'll have the obsession again.
Oh, God, hope so.
That would be exciting.
So on today's show, you're going to discover why eating with a spoon is the answer some people are looking for.
And a family that is so obsessed with weightlifting, they're known as the strongest family in the world.
And why scheduled feedings are all the rage with some peeps.
And how pretending to be Eddie Van Halen is helping some shred those extra pounds.
But before we get started today, we want to make sure that you know that we're not endorsing any of the therapies, exercise programs, equipment, ideas, foods, or supplements that we're sharing with you on the show.
Right. If you hear something that we're talking about and think it might be something you'd like to try, we'd like you to check with your doctor first, because it's always a good idea to get their okay before you start any new exercise, diet plan, or obsession.
Right. So, have you ever heard of the spoon diet?
No, but I feel like I'm about to.
Well, you're about to hear about it. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because diets are an obsession with people, right?
That's true.
Like, there are so many diets. I think you and I have talked about diets so many times, and they're always amazing to me because they're just crazy.
The thing, too, is it doesn't matter how crazy they are, the people that are into them are way in, 100%.
Right? One thing that's really funny to me is that they're 100% in for a very short period of time, because usually the diets are so extreme you can't physically last.
Right.
You know? Like, you can't do your life. All right, so let me talk to you about the spoon diet.
Okay, I can't
Here's
wait for
the
this.
idea. You are literally allowed to eat anything that you can put on a spoon. Like soup, parfait, yogurt, pudding, whatever fits in a spoon you can have. It sounds like it's good, right? But I think it makes people miserable.
Yeah.
Because instead of slowing down to eat and enjoying the food, or, picking the right types of food, people are like shoving chocolate or peanut butter or whatever fits into their spoon into their mouth as often as possible.
And the thing I don't understand about this, and maybe I'm just looking at this the wrong way, I can eat almost anything with a spoon. I mean, if I'm hungry enough, I could eat a steak with a spoon.
Well, all you can do is then have one bite.
Oh, I see. I get it.
You can only have, like, let's say I want chocolate or something. I can only have the chocolate that fits in the spoon one time.
I see. So you could eat all day, but you'd have to switch foods.
Yeah. Well, and I think from what I gather, is that you can only eat every few hours. So, you'll be like famished all the time, and you'll probably be like hangry all the time because you're malnourished.
I get it. So really all it is just eating less. The spoon is like a crazy gimmick, really.
Right. I mean, it's just like any other diet out there. Don't shove a whole bunch of stuff into your mouth and you'll be okay.
And the thing is, you just cannot keep up with those things. There's no way.
No.
A lot of people will say, it really is about a lifestyle change, which is absolutely true. You got to find something that you can actually carry on with. I mean, who's going to be able to carry on eating just one spoonful of stuff? And that's insane.
That sounds delightful to me. Just one spoonful.
I want to tell you about a guy who actually eats 12 eggs a day. He eats an entire dozen of eggs per day.
That sounds really expensive.
Exactly my first thought, too. I was like, wow, I don't think I could even afford to do that. That would be crazy. 7 dozen eggs every week for one person in the family. He's the head of the Best family.
First of all, question, does he have his own chicken?
That's a great question. I don't know that.
If you had a chicken, can you imagine that chicken must be stressed out? Like, God, this guy wants my eggs.
Yeah. God damn it, I just gave you 12. Why are you back here reaching underneath me?
Right? It's crazy. Every day, man?
If I was that chicken, when he came out in the morning, I'd just go, here's a spoon. You're on the spoon diet. Get away from me. Go away. No, so the Best family is the strongest family in the world. And they are just like totally into strength training. This is what they do the whole shooting match. So you have the dad, who's like this great big huge guy who eats 12 eggs every day. The mother, who is a bodybuilder person. And then 11-year-old Dylan, who is the son, and then Jessica, who is 5. They spend up to 240 hours per week working out. Yikes, that's an obsession.
What is amazing about this is that they have family time. Like, it's good, right? They have,
that's
scheduled
right.
time that is not in front of a dinner plate.
Right.
It's not on the couch. I like that, but it's a weird example to make for your 5-year-old daughter. We must work out all the time.
And I kind of wrestled with all that, too. I was going, same thing. I went, it's good because as a family, they're doing things together. They're establishing healthy habits. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, for a 5-year-old and 11-year-old to be doing some of the strength training that these guys are doing seems a little odd. In fact, I think the oddest quote that I found in doing this research was from the 11-year-old boy, and this is what he said. He goes, "It's like my coffee in the morning," said Dylan, who can deadlift more than 150 pounds. "If I don't do it, I don't feel right."
Okay. First of all,
lots of problems there. I know.
How does he know what coffee in the morning is like?
Apparently, he has coffee in the morning, which I think is odd for someone that's 11 years old.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It seems like maybe there might be an issue. I mean, when you're an adult and you want to strength and bulk up and do all that stuff, okay, you're an adult. But a kid is still developing, still growing. You know what I mean? It's like, no. But they're totally obsessed. And they are the strongest family in the world. The Best family.
That is an obsession that does qualify. I got another one. You know how people are obsessed with losing weight?
I do.
Okay. We talk about that all the time, too.
We do.
It is on my mind all of the time. Okay, there is this thing called tube feeding.
Mm-hmm.
I just laugh at this. Okay, like when you're really ill or someone you know is really ill and sick and they get you nourishment through a tube because, you're not conscious and you have to have food in your system. Yeah. People will lose weight rather quickly. Mostly it's like women, brides-to-be, people like that, because they have a feeding tube inserted through their nose.
Ugh.
That travels through the esophagus and into their stomach, and it remains in place for 24 hours a day.
So you go to work that way, you go to school that way?
For 10 days.
Ugh.
Yeah. So for 10 days, eating is avoided completely, and a high-protein, low-carb formula is fed through the tube, delivering roughly 800 calories a day.
Oof, that's pretty low.
Right? It's at like First of all, you can't maintain life on 800 calories a day. This procedure costs $1,500.
So here's what I don't get. So this is basically a liquid protein diet. So why don't you just do like a shake thing or something? What's with the feeding tube?
You could accomplish all with a shake, but the problem is, like, have you had a shake? A lot of them don't taste very good. And people are lazy.
You're just fooling yourself. There is no possible way you're going to do that for 10 days and change your life. It's not going to happen.
No way.
Feeding tube.
It just is funny. It's funny to me that people stick tubes up their nose and they're like, yeah, this is the answer.
Yeah, you're walking around with a tube up your nose. Why are you doing that? To look good? Oh, yeah, that's working for you.
To look good? Oh, I'm getting married soon. I'm sure your husband-to-be or your wife or whatever, your dog, whatever, is really excited about seeing you with this tube up your nose. You know, whatever.
I found one that I think actually has a little bit of merit here to end with. So this is the air guitar workout. You've seen people do air guitar before, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm really, really talented.
Well, I'll tell you, when I started looking around, there's like an air guitar world championship every year. There's like Facebook communities. It's like crazy. All these people that are obsessed with playing air guitar. But this one guy, Charles Muir, basically came up with this thing and goes, you know what? It's a great workout. He calls it a metabolic training for rock and roll athletes, which is very cool. I love that.
Well, I got to say, there is a lot of core engagement when you're doing air guitar.
Yeah. Right. If you totally get into it, I mean, he was kind of saying like it works his legs, his core, grip strength. He's doing lawnmowers, wood choppers, all these different things, just doing an air guitar workout. I was like, that's pretty neat. The thing is, you'd have to do it by yourself.
Yeah. It's not a workout you could do with a loved one.
No, because people would just be like laughing at you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, the other thing is, he says he does get a lot of neck work in when he does the headbanging. What is with people that want to exercise their neck? Someone help me here.
What? That is so weird. Usually people are complaining to me all of the time. Like, oh, I have neck pain. I have shoulder pain.
Yeah.
What? Well, quit headbanging. That might be the reason why you have neck pain.
I know. All these people, I keep running into these people that are doing neck exercises. Why? Yeah. I don't get it. It's like why don't you just work your eyebrows or something? You know, your earlobes.
I think we have a new Funky Fitness podcast episode. Eyebrow workouts.
That's a great one. Ripped eyebrows. I'm doing an eyebrow plank right now.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad. I'm sure it's pretty amazing.
It is.
I can't wait to see what your eyebrows look like in a few months from now.
Yeah, this summer I'll probably let them out. I don't usually. I keep them covered up in the winter.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, too cold.
Oh.
So another thing that we like to keep covered up in the winter is our Patreon campaign, and we're excited to tell you about it.
We like to keep it covered up? Okay.
We only let it out in the summertime.
I didn't realize. I've been doing it wrong this whole time. All right. You know that we love doing Funky Fitness and bringing you some of the more unusual things and ideas people are doing to stay fit and active.
Correct. And we'd like to ask you for your support. That's why we've set up your Patreon page. When you become a Funky Fitness fan, you help make this show possible and keep it ad-free, which is really important. And on your page, you'll find some very cool rewards like behind-the-scenes videos and bonus content.
Yeah, and you'll get episodes before anyone else. Personalized videos and a bunch of other cool, funky stuff.
So visit funkyfitnessnow.com/support and become a Funky Fitness fan now. We really appreciate it. You can also find your Patreon link in the show notes for this episode at funkyfitnessnow.com/45.
And you'll find links to everything else we talked about on the show today,
including that fabulous eyebrow workout we spoke of. So, Jess, what do we have coming up next week?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love this.
Okay, next week we're going to do funky side effects. You know, like the weird side effects you hear from medications, like you're going to get like anal linkage, heart disease, you might die, you know, all that stuff. We're going to talk about them.
You just said anal linkage. What is that?
I think it must be my Midwestern accent. You can't understand it.
All right. Until next time, I'm Steve Stearns.
And I'm Jessica Bailey, saying stay fit and funky.
Thanks Thanks for listening to the show. If you haven't already, make sure you visit funkyfitnessnow.com for more of the weird, wild, and kooky things people do to stay fit. While you're there, be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter so you never miss an episode. See you next week.